There are a lot of knives out there that are almost great. Quality steel, solid ergos, good designs, but there's that one issue that refuses to be ignored. Not nitpicks, not preferences, actual problems that affect use, safety, or long-term ownership. Today, we're going to look at otherwise great knives with major flaws, and whether those flaws are deal breakers, fixable annoyances, or something you just have to kind of accept because you like the knife so much. Now, links to everything that I show here will be down in the description if you want to take a look at them yourself. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. And the first knife we have here is the Benchmade Intersect. Now, this is a knife that has great ergos, great size for EDC, small enough to be easily concealed or carried, and really solid performance with the magnet steel. So what's the flaw here? The flaw is actually not with the knife itself. It is with the sheath. Now, this sheath, first off, you can tell way bigger than it should be. And there's really no flexibility in how you're going to mount it or carry it. You might be able to run a strap through here. I don't know if this is designed to be a pocket clip or a belt clip or exactly what it's designed to be. But you can't carry this in the traditional ways. And the retention on the sheath, it is okay, but it doesn't have that like snap in that you're really going to have confidence in unless you snap the strap here. And when you do that, you have to actually have multiple motions to get this out of your pocket or off of your belt. So why does it matter? Really, fixed blades live and die by their sheath. You could have the best knife in the world, best steel, perfect ergos, but if the sheath sucks, you're not going to carry it. And if you can't carry it, it's not useful. So is this a fixable issue? And the answer to that is yes. And that is because of options like this sheath from Armatus Carry. Now, this is a Kydex sheath, and it is an aftermarket sheath, so you're going to have to pay extra for it. But you can hear that snaps in with authority. It's extremely tight in there. It is not moving around, and it makes this a much more carryable knife. And you can get this in a variety of different colors. I went with the gray to keep a more subdued feel, but they have like a bright orange if you want to go for more of like a safety orange kind of motif, thing like that. But it also provides different mounting options. Mine came with soft loops, and that's what I prefer to use, but you can also use an ulti clip, and there's lots of different clips that'll work with this kind of sheath design. So again, is this a fixable issue? Absolutely yes. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. So that is the Benchmade Intersect. Next up, we're going to look at a folder and actually an auto, and that is the ESEE Zancudo. Now, this is a great size. It's extremely comfortable in the hand because of the handle design. It has that classic ESEE toughness, and it uses a crossbar lock instead of a button for the actuation of the automatic action. And I think that's just kind of a neat little twist on the design. So what's the flaw here? Well, when it's closed like this, maybe not be able to see it, but I think you'll be able to hear it. You can hear when I press on that blade, it is impacting that barrel spacer in the back. Now, you might ask, why is that a big deal? Well, the problem is over time, that is going to put a dent in the edge of the blade here, or a chip, whatever you want to call it. You can actually see the indent on mine. I may not be able to get it on camera really well here. I'll try to get the light on it, but I'm also going to bring up a shot from a microscope that I own, and that'll actually show you the actual indent from the barrel spacer, just so you can see that it really is actually there. So why does this matter? Well, in this case, it's not even a cosmetic issue or a carry issue. This is a functional issue, because when you are using this to cut, now mind you, this one's pretty small, so it probably wouldn't be as big of an issue, but I've also sharpened this out a bit, so it was bigger beforehand. But that little imperfection, that dent, that chip could catch in the material when you're cutting with it, or you could hop out of the cut because it catches and pulls or something like that. So it really is a functional and in some ways even a safety issue. So is it fixable? Not so far as I can tell. You can sharpen it out, but it'll eventually come back if the edge is still continuing to contact that barrel spacer. I have read some people say that if you sharpen that edge back enough, it'll eventually stop contacting the barrel spacer. But at that point, you're sharpening a decent bit of life out of the blade to get it that far back, and that really isn't something that you should be doing, have to do for a USA made knife when you're buying it like this. So that is the ESEE Zancudo, and that was just one that I was disappointed in for as excited as I was to get it. So next, we're going to look at another folder, and that is the SOG Terminus XR. Now, this one, I love the size of this. The blade shape is awesome. It has kind of a clip point blade. The great materials for a sub $100 knife. I want to say I paid like 70 to 80 for this, and you get S35 VN steel, G10 scales with a carbon fiber overlay. So there is so much to like about this knife. So what is the problem? It is the persistent blade play here. And it also, one other little issue that I had, the flipper tab here is very prominent and very aggressively jimped, so it was tearing up my pockets. But the real deal breaker for me was, again, the side-to-side blade play here. And I absolutely could not adjust this out. I tried to tighten the pivot screws as tight as I could. And actually, I think it was this one that I stripped out the screw head. So I can't even tighten them anymore or really loosen them because that is stripped out. So why does this matter? Really, it just kills the confidence in the knife. When you know that that knife is wobbly, you're not going to trust it to do like any kind of real serious work because you know that it is not solid. You know that that blade is wobbling. It's just hard to rely on a blade with a knife with a wobbly blade. Now, that being said, this isn't completely not useful to me. I have actually started using this as my center console knife in my car. So, you know, if I forget to grab a knife or I don't think I can carry one around with me all day, I do have this in the center console as kind of a backup knife or something like that. So it does still have a role with me. But there was so much to like about this. I wanted it to be so much more than that. And the blade play just kind of killed it for me. And as I discussed, it really wasn't fixable. Now, something I have to acknowledge is yours may not have the same issue because this isn't an inherent design issue necessarily. This could be a quality control issue. So yours may not have this same blade play, but mine did, and I just could not adjust it out. And that is the SOG Terminus XR. So next, we're going to go back to a fixed blade, and that is the Kizer Smolt. Now, this is a great blade size for EDC. It has a thicker, robust blade stock, and it has a lot of options as far as blade steels. Off the top of my head, I know mine is 154 cm. You can also get this in 3V, AEBL, and 14C28. And there may be more. I thought maybe D2, but I can't remember for sure if that's an option. But there's a lot to like. So what's the issue here? My biggest issue, my big flaw on this is there really is not much of a finger guard or a finger groove here to really get solid purchase on the blade and not have to worry about sliding your finger up onto the blade and possibly slicing yourself. Now, there is that little tiny notch here, but being realistic, if you are actually, you know, really like a stab cut or a plunging cut or something like that, if you really hit, your finger's really easily going to slide up over this because there's also no jimping on this or nothing to really get traction. So you're just going to slide right up over this. Why does that matter? Really, there's the potential for your hand to slip up onto the blade and cut yourself, especially if you have wet hands or you're wearing gloves or something like that. I would not be confident doing push cuts or penetrating cuts with this just because my hand might slide up onto the blade. So is this fixable? No, not for me. It's just kind of a design. I would say design issue. You might say design choice. But really what it comes down to is it's just something you have to be conscious of when you're using it and just know what cuts you can and can't make with this if you want to use it safely. So that is the Kizer Smolt. Now, last but not least, this is actually one of my favorite small knives. It is the Vosteed Mini Nightshade. Now, this is affordable. It has solid materials for the price. It has an interesting blade shape here, not one that you see a whole lot. It's extremely, extremely light. This is my favorite knife to toss in jogging pants because it doesn't weigh them down much. And it's just really a cool design. And for being how small of a knife it is, I can get a full 4-finger grip on this, which I cannot say of every fifth pocket knife that I own. So what is the flaw here? It isn't apparent when you look at it, but I'll show you. Now you might notice I did not flick the thumb. I didn't do a reverse flick, anything like that. I was able to just open it up with a flick of my wrist. And you don't even have to do a wrist flick. I'll show you right here. I just like pushed the knife down, that motion, opened the knife and locked it open. So why does that matter? Well, that light of a detent can be a safety issue when it's in your pocket. This could potentially open up in your pocket without much effort. The other issue, and this is one that most people might not consider, the way that some laws are written, this could be considered a gravity knife because it can be opened without any use of your thumb or anything like that, just by a flick of the wrist. Some localities would consider this a gravity knife. Now, is that likely to be something that really comes up or becomes an issue? Probably not, but it is something you need to consider, especially if you're in an area with very restrictive blade laws. So yeah, the two major issues are safety and potentially legal issues. So is there a real fix for this? Not on mine. Now, I have read that some newer models, they actually use an adjustable Omega spring. So it almost like Kizer's clutch lock. It has little holes that you can adjust the tension on the detent there. So that could potentially be a solution. But mine, I checked, does not have those extra holes. So this is not adjustable. So I cannot adjust that out. So I am just kind of stuck with a knife, a great knife that has an extremely light detent. So that is the Vosteed Mini Nightshade. So none of these knives are bad. In fact, that's the whole point of this video. Every knife here gets so much right that the flaws really stand out even more. Some of these problems are fixable, some aren't. And whether they're deal breakers really comes down to how you use your knives and what you are willing to tolerate. If you've run into a knife like this, one that you wanted to love, or you did love, but just had those flaws that just made it so you couldn't absolutely love it. I genuinely am curious to hear about it. So if you have run into those, let me know down in the comments. And as always, like I mentioned, links for these will be down in the description if you want to check them out for yourself and just see if you feel the same way about them that I do. And if you enjoyed this list, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.